Hey guys, Miles here at Untitled Hyve, and I'm joined with Tosh, who is a former Navy SEAL sniper instructor. And you may have seen in previous videos, Tosh ran me through all the essential gear and equipment needed when you are doing a sniper stalking exercise. But in this video, Tosh is going to get a little bit more granular, a little more detailed, and talk about placement of the gear when you're actually doing a stalk and other important details like what is used for what.
All right, so the first piece of equipment is your pruning shears. This is how you're going to make your veg fans. Remember how we discussed the veg fan? You need this to make the veg fan. So having this in a pouch where you can get to quickly, because you're going to be making veg fans throughout your stalk. Okay. And when you're also doing your loophole for your firing, you may have to cut away at some of the and having this handy and an easy place to get to. Okay. Got it. So you can always have that ready. Okay. Some form of optic. I like this Vortex Solo. It's pretty good. It has a range scale in it. So being able to observe the OP as I'm stalking, or just to locate the OP, you know, having this readily handy. Normally I have a leash on it. I wear it around my neck and I keep it right there. But this is something you want to be able to get to quite often, because you know, you're looking through optics, you're looking to see with your naked eye, but when you look with the optic, you're more getting a perspective of what the OP is going to have on you. So it's always good to have that optic really handy and utilizing that to figure out where you're going to go.
Would you say I'm going to be using the shears much more than the optic?
No, I would say they're equally as important on a stock field, because you don't want to have to pick up your rifle to look through your scope to do it. The only time you really want to do that is when you're getting ready to get set up in your FFP. Notepad to take notes. If there's something that, you know, if it were a real world situation, take obviously reconnaissance information, you know, you would put that in there. For you, if you need to remember something, go ahead and write it down while you're doing your stalk, you know, and then just having notes so in my notepad, I have a mill scale on it. So I know when I mill something out that, okay, 2.5 mils, I know that, okay, he's whatever distance. Based on your data. It's a cheater. It's a cheating chart. So I don't have to do the math in the field. But if you do have to do math in the field, you got a pen and paper right there. Okay. Rubber bands. This doesn't need to be anywhere where you can get to quickly, but you should have that on you. Rubber bands to help veg up your ghillie suit. You already got some pre-planned. So as soon as you get out, once we start the stalk, now you start vegging up your ghillie. You have the rubber bands on there, but you may find that you need more. And this will also help build your veg fans. So as you build your veg fans, you can rubber band them at the bottom so it sticks together and it doesn't fall over the place. Gloves, for obvious reasons. You may find yourself crawling at times. So being able to put your hands on the ground on sharp rocks or stickers or whatever, you got to have the gloves. So I wear these almost the whole time. Extra bipod in case your bipod isn't working. Cami paint, for obvious reason, you're going to have to touch up. When you get into your FFP, you're getting ready to take that final shot, you want to go ahead and touch up your face just to make sure you're more solid, so you have a compact for that. Multi-tool, you never know what you're going to run into out there. You may have some issues with your weapon. You have a tool that you can fix those issues. And then the pliers on this are great for splinters and stickers and cactus and stuff like that, you know, to help you with that. And then there's other things on here that are pretty useful. You could actually use that to cut small limbs and stuff like that if you need to. And I would have that handy somewhere on your pouch. It doesn't need to be super fast. You just got to be able to get to it. Extra netting. You may find that you have to build yourself a bush. So having extra netting is always important to help cami you up, break up.
So this would be thrown, obviously, this is more kind of...
Yeah, that would be in here, you know. Your backpack for all your, you know, depending on how long the stalk's going to be, whether you're going to have food, water, whatnot, your extra shit in here. Extra bullets, whatnot, you know. Maybe a secondary or a primary rifle, depending on what kind of system you're running. You would carry like a smaller primary weapon. So once the stalk's over, you've got a legitimate, you know, fighting weapon as opposed to a stalking weapon, you know, bolt action rifle. Extra elbow pads if you may need them. In this environment, this is you probably are not going to find a place to use something like this, but in a more wooded environment, you can auger this into a side of a tree and actually make that a rest for your gun.
Got it.
So, or if you need to get advantage, you can use it to step up, to get up and see things. So having something like this is pretty handy. They make some that have straps where you just strap it on and they ratchet it. I like those a little bit better than actually having to do that. It's a little bit faster. And you have these stuffed in your bag. Just go ahead and stuff that back in there. Of course, your ghillie hat. Probably of all the ghillie stuff that you have, this is the single most important piece of kit. Okay, it's more important than your shaw. Okay, because this is what's going to be exposed, your head. So having this, I always carried in my backpack. I always carried a spare ghillie hat just in case. I love from weird stuff happens out there when you're on the stock field. You may lose your hat, you not even realize you lost it. And then your tripod. So if you look at our environment, you're probably going to have to be off the ground. You're not going to find. You may find it. You may find that awesome spot to set up the FFP where you can use the tripod on the weapon system, but more likely you're probably going to have to shoot off of that tripod based on this environment. Okay. Hydration is real key. Camelbacks are real handy because you don't have to stop, open something up and drink. Problem with the camelback, the bladders can break if you're really rough on them, and it's really easy to suck down your water supply really quickly. So if you're going to carry a camelback, I recommend carrying actually more water in case it does get sucked dry. And out here in the summer in this location, one camelback won't be enough. You'll burn through that. So I would try to preserve this as much as I can and drink from the containers while I can drink, while it's easy for me to do that, and then switch to this. So you don't have to try to fill this in the field. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yep. But it is convenient when you're stalking or you're crawling, you have to crawl for whatever reason. Having this little tube lifeline is a good thing to have. So there's pluses and minuses to camelbacks. There's other systems, platypus and all that. They're all good. They all serve the same purpose. Let's talk about a compass. I think this is a crucial piece of equipment. Some guys with GPS, all that, but I like the compass because I can take a bearing. Let's say I find the OP, okay? I'm gonna take a bearing to that OP, okay, mark it on my compass, know that bearing, and whatever dead space I have between me and the OP, I can keep that. I know that if I get off too much to the right, too much to the left, that I'm not bleeding out. So it'll help me. Let's say I'm crawling on my face, I'm like, oh shoot, where's the OP? I'm kind of lost. I can go to that bearing and go, okay, so roughly in this direction. Yeah. If I've lost sight. So it helps me. And then what I'll do is once I find the OP with my, I take a bearing with my compass, I'll take a look at the background of what's behind the OP and what's above it. If there's anything I can utilize to indicate where that OP is, because what I'm going to try to do is get as much crap between me and the OP so that I don't have to crawl. And so if I know, okay, let's say if you take a look at that boulder up there, that boulder's in line with the OP, okay? I know that that's where the OP is, then I can keep an eye on that. As long as I've got enough dead space between me and the OP, I can look at that and say, okay, I know where to kind of keep my walk going. So a compass, having the compass helps with that too. You may even want to shoot, a back azimuth to see what's behind you. And then if you have those 2 points lined up, now you know the line that you can walk. Yeah. You know what I mean? Without constantly going, oh, I got to crawl here or whatever. And that assumes that knowing the line in which direction to walk, that assumes you already have identified the OP. That this is the best. Yes, okay. Yes. You're good. Before you step off, you're going to take a look and go, okay, does that look good? All right, looks good for, at least 100 yards, And then remember your bearing there. Yeah. You check it with a compass. So I always have a compass on my kit. Perfect. Okay, and then I always keep rubber bands around my wrist in case I find some place where I can make a good veg fan. Boom, I got the rubber bands right there, and I can just, boom, I got my veg fan. So put those on your wrist. Okay. Some guys swear by zip ties. My only issue is I'm not a big fan of the color because it's black, but they work essentially the same way a rubber band does. Okay, and you can use them. For veg fans are actually pretty good because you can get a tighter veg fan. and they don't break on you as easy as a rubber band does. So your choice. I always take a little bit of these too, just in case I need something that's a little bit more substantial. And there's different ways you can use. Let's say you're trying to build a loophole, but you don't want to break the branch. You can zip tie it to another branch to get it out of the way. You know, you can use this in creative ways. If you need some kind of support, you can make a chain of these and make support for your weapon system or your tripod. You know, there's a bazillion things you can do with these, so it's good to have these in your kit.
Got it.
And bring them with you, just in case. Yeah.
Cool.
Because you don't know what situation you're going to end up in, and you may have to create your final firing position. And there's just another tool that'll help you with that.
Great. Thanks, Tosh. There you guys have it. That is basically an overview of what's needed, the gear that you're going to need, taken with you in a stock, and kind of an overview that Tosh gave as to what is used for what, as well as the placement. You know, some tools you're going to use more than others. So thanks a lot, Tosh. Appreciate that. And stay tuned for another video where Tosh alluded to face paint, and that is a key part to the stock as well. So we're going to be covering that next time. So if you like this kind of content, guys, like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.